And then again, you look at maybe what if you did get onto Mars, what all the bacterias and all that stuff. I mean, how compatible are we going to be with that? So, I mean, again, I really feel it's a real, like a one-way ticket, a very fast one-way ticket.
Yeah. I'd like to just see this guy, this Chinese or Asiatic guy who's paid like $2 million to be the first man to circle the moon. I'd like to see that happen first, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that'd be more exciting. Again, I would like us to actually go back and land on the moon and stay on the moon for a period of time, and not just the front side. I'd like to see us on the back side of the moon.
Oh, that would be intriguing, yes, because the back side, of course, is the mystery side, the one that never faces the Earth. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like to see that way they can debunk supposedly of all these alien bases that's supposedly on the backside of the moon.
Or maybe not. Maybe they're out there.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's a secret hideaway. If you can't go around it and you can't shine a huge floodlight on them, they're pretty much under the radar.
Oh yeah,
Pretty smart.
Well,
smart.
It does make logical sense. I mean, if they were watching us on this planet, and experimenting with us and whatever they're doing, I mean, if they have a planet, on the backside of the moon, hey, what better security place could they have to take the people?
It's a 5-minute commute for one of their spaceships.
Yeah, they could abduct all the people they want and bring them on the backside of the moon.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
I don't know.
Wouldn't put it past them either.
I don't know. Do you believe that people are being abducted, or do you think it's just people's imagination?
I'm going to go on a limb and say there are some valid stories. I think some people may be making them up just to get notoriety, but I think there's been a few. I think there's been at least a dozen, 2 dozen or more. Some of them, if you read them, very credible. They're in detail. The descriptions are very much in detail, and that much detail. And under interrogation, they don't change their story. Usually, a false story kind of flip flops. It goes back and forth and it changes and it weaves in and out. And the guy says, "Well, no, that wasn't right. This is what happened." Some of these stories are concrete and don't change, and I think those are the ones that are valid.
Well, the thing is, though, if we are being abducted or experimented on, how many times are they going to, go take a cow and do their experiment on a cow? I mean, this has been going on for so many years. Again,
well, yeah, but look, we're supposed to do 5,000 to 10,000 case histories before the FDA even approves a drug. So yeah, we could see that they could be doing it day in and day out for years. Why not? It's very possible. They're going to make absolutely certain they understand our DNA. Maybe they like the story of Savage Planet I was referring to the last time. Maybe that whole story of Savage Planet is true. Maybe there's some DNA sampling to see if they can use our DNA to spontaneously create a different kind of race on their planet, or to maybe get procreation going again, which is the theme of that book called Savage Planet. Yeah.
Well, how about if they're trying to manipulate our humanoid cells?
Or even manipulate ours, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they want to manipulate our DNA to make us look like them.
That's possible. Oh my God! Then I start thinking
feel better. They feel comfortable. Like they just say, "Oh, hey, bro." Problem is the language. I don't believe they have language. I believe it's telepathic or electronic stimulus. I don't think they have a language, because the pictures of the aliens, which seem to be factual, they don't have mouths that move. They have like little holes or something. Maybe where, I don't know. Maybe we put a plug or something. Of course, that's my opinion. But I don't get the idea that they do otherwise than telepathically or with some kind of sign language. What do you think?
I actually think, since they're so far advanced compared to our species, that I don't think they need to have vocal cords. I think they gave that up a long time ago.
Skinny necks. They've got real skinny throats,
Oh, what's really bad about this is that I don't know if they have male-female and love situations and family situations, but I'll tell you one thing: if they could read each other's minds, that would be horrible. I mean, wouldn't it be horrible if you went into a bank and you could read people's minds?
But they're advanced. They'd be advanced to the point where they pretty much have handled and controlled their emotions and their appetites, so that they aren't going to have wild and beastly thoughts, come in from out of nowhere. Not that that's a terrible thing if you're in control of yourself. And we all have random thoughts, don't we?
Yeah,
we don't like.
But they might not have they might have thoughts, but they might have zero emotions, and that's what I was getting back to the beginning of the show.
Yeah. I believe that much. I remember when I was very young, I saw this. It was New York Times, and it had a picture. It just came back to me, Gary. A picture on the front page of the New York Times had a picture of a human head, with the brain greatly enlarged, and the subtext was, "Is this what we're going to look like in the 21st century or in the next century?" It didn't say 20. And I read the article, and it was thought that by scientists, authorities, that man is getting more intellectually stimulated. He has more knowledge. He's going to eventually, his brain is going to increase 2 or 3 times its normal size. Interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
That was back in the last century.
I kind of have that feeling, but you know what? I go back, let's say back to the 1400s, 1300s, even before that. Do you know the average height of a male was around 5 foot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
And how much have we grown in a couple, centuries? I mean, men and women are growing taller. I mean,
look at the Watusis. They're all over 6'2". There's nobody even the women are like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Yeah.
So I mean, things are happening. I mean, we are on our own. Growing taller. Even our physical things are changing. Maybe that's a lot because of the foods we eat with the hormones in it and all that. But going back to the 1400s, I would say, no, that didn't. It wasn't from the food and the hormones. It's just that people are advancing, and who knows what we're going to look like, because, our gravity field is changing. All this stuff is going to affect what we are eventually going to look like. So in 1,000 years from now, you might look and think, oh, gee, that's a beautiful looking woman. 1,000 years from now, she could look like that one in the Outer Limits or Twilight Zone, the lady that was good looking, but as a society was actually looked like ugly, like they had pig type faces and all that stuff. And they thought that was good looking, where, she was disformed because she looked like me and you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
But on UFOs, again, too, have you also any other reportings lately of anything major, flying around that has been reported?
Well, nothing here in the Nashville area, although I did read, without a photograph, again, I read just tonight something happened in Nashville about August 18th, about 3 months ago, maybe. But again, there was no photo. And so I just, I read it real quickly and said, okay, fine, some light went up real quickly, and then it came down and went back up again. I go, okay, well, that's fine, Person saw what they saw. It's not very concrete, like the photo that I gave you and the video I'm going to give you later tonight. Those are concrete, retouched images. They're the real thing from 1950 and one from recently. And they can't be debunked. Sorry.
Well, yeah, but I do, believe that's the only problem you have nowadays. I hate to say it, with Photoshop, the digital imaging, a lot of people try passing stuff off. But, I mean, honestly, I have extensive background also in photography. So when I look at pictures, I debunk them almost right away. If not, I got some software I bring up and then I load the image on. And that's 3/4 of the people that send me images of UFOs turns out to be dust spots on their sensor. But, it's so, or orbs, the two things that drive me crazy, orbs and UFO pictures that are dust spots. But it's just kind of eerie on some of the things that, like about 5 months ago, I don't know if I told you, Michael W. Hall, he runs the UFO I-Team. They go out and investigate UFO things. They had some guy, they were having their little monthly or weekly, I should say, weekly meeting, and some elderly guy comes walking in with a envelope, legal size envelope, and the first thing out of Michael's mind is, oh God, I'm being sued, because he's an attorney, right? You see an 8x10 envelope, you think, okay, I'm getting hit with a process server. Well, the guy didn't want to talk to him. He goes, here, I want you to have this. And the guy walks out, and Michael opens it up, and it's a whole report on how the propulsion system works on a UFO. And it's rather interesting. He's actually has it sent out for to be analyzed. But it also talks about, again, like mercury being used in the propulsion system, traveling at high speed, whatever it does, how it works. But a lot of these reportings of like UFO landings, what I'm at least been finding, there's like traces of where the craft has landed, of like mercury type of metal, droplets around it, which is rather interesting.
That would be valid, yeah.
So, I don't know.
I would say, if I had the funds and the time, I would get a very good telescope with a digital camera attached, and I would point it at the moon each night, and I would, the next day, I would harvest the digital readout and just go through it with a high-speed software image reader, the way that some of the very, very fine wave photographers do, big wave photographers and shore break photographers. I was watching that the other night, because I'm also an old surfer from way back. I don't mean a web surfer, I mean an actual surfer on surfboard. And to go through the footage every day after the night's take, and I would bet within 20 to 30 days that there would be more than 3 or 4 gorgeous UFO images that were very clear, because I've already seen one tonight that was not clear, that was tracked for about 6 or 7 minutes across the face of the moon. And again, it was that telltale pulsating light. As I said in my email to you earlier, the one thing that stands out and is always present in these reports where there's some kind of video evidence is it's always a white or red pulsating light, always. And that would be the telltale sign that it is a extraterrestrial vehicle.
Well, okay? Yeah, well, they're out there. Back in the, I would say around 2000s, and I think I might have told you this, I ran a chain of professional camera stores, and we imported in from, I think it was Czechoslovakia, but they were Russian infrared binoculars, military binoculars. Mm-hmm. And, I took them home, and I didn't even think about looking at the sky the first night I had them. I was just looking around, and, it was rather interesting, all these red eyes you would see. But one night I looked at the skies, and the sky, and I started seeing these objects, traveling, coming to a dead stop, and then going another direction. And I actually, at that time, one of our customers, they ran up in Puyallup, Washington, the observatory, and there was like 13 members of them. And I told them about that, and they go, "Oh no, that's no way UFO." I let them borrow the binoculars. They came back on the following Monday, and a group of them ordered them because they said they saw the same weird things I was starting to see. Objects coming to a stop, and then going at a weird angle, zap like that. That you can't see with a telescope. I mean, I owned some real nice telescopes in the past, and I never saw any UFOs with them or anything like that. But when you look at them through infrared, it's like night and day difference in what you see. Yeah.
Also, the other factors that's always concurrent with the valid stories is that these things appear and disappear very quickly, or they shoot off in just completely impossible directions at very, very fast speeds. No airplane or jet or even rocket that we've ever even imagined yet can do those type of maneuvers. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, going back to even Michael Hall, one of his people in his group is really into, with cameras, video cameras, looking for UFOs. And he had one that I looked at it, and I still haven't been able to debunk it. but it shows, it looks like almost like a UFO coming out of a portal.